was another one on the agenda that I had only recently heard about, Senate Bill 537. And I haven't had a chance to, it's on the same agenda. I haven't had a chance to compare the two or to compare 537 with the AB 2449, which was a past one. But it appears to be similar, at least in parts, to AB 2449. One thing in particular is the maximum of 2 times per year a board member could use the remote attendance. And that is one thing that I know a lot of people don't like. So that's all I can tell you about 537 right now without having to compare them side to side.
Thank you. Any other public comment? I see no other hands or any other slips presented, so let's go ahead and we'll close that item. We'll move on to, we have it, agenda item number 3, Minors of In-Person Meeting Protocol, and I think I kind of talked a little bit about that earlier, so we're going to go ahead and skip that. However, because this is an agenda item, this can be commented by the community, so you have, would anyone like to talk a little bit about protocols and meetings, since I've already talked about it? I see no hands, so we'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is an election update. Who will be giving the election update?
There's nothing to give right now. I mean, I can. Hello? Okay, Brian?
It's not official.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So right now, as a preliminary, that is all that's out there right now, that we are waiting for this week, probably Wednesday or Thursday, we will know the final count. Most of the people that have been elected should have got an email last week. But I can say that we do have a few are back, and we have a couple of new ones. So until the official is out, we can't really say. Am I correct? We can't say nothing. So that's where we're at right now. We'll know towards the end of this week. Okay? Thanks.
Okay. Also an agenda item, if anyone has any comment on the issue. I see no hands. Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item number 5. We have our homelessness liaison report. That'll be presented by Lori Jacobs.
Good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. First time I've given this report in person. So I'm going to start with LA Hop, which I mention every single time I do a report, because this is the best way that any of you can help be part of the solution. If you see somebody in trouble, you see somebody experiencing homelessness, you can go to the lahop.org portal and enter the information, put as much information in as you can to help them find the person. And you can be anonymous if you're concerned about that. And I just want to tell you that I actually put in an LA Hop this morning for a woman who was been on a bus bench for quite a while. In this case, the outreach team was able to actually connect with this person within an hour and a half of when I put that in. So this does work. Now, keep in mind that the people are not necessarily ready to accept services, but it's building up that relationship and that trust with the outreach team or mental health workers. I have a section on here talking about older adults experiencing homelessness, and I've provided some data because older adults is the fastest growing demographic, and it has been for a while, of people experiencing homelessness. We have seniors who are on fixed incomes, but their expenses are not fixed. They just keep going up. So I've put some data here, and I wanted to let you know that there's a Senate Bill 37 that is just been introduced, and it will provide a rent subsidy targeted to older adults and adults with disabilities, both, who are homeless. So if you're interested in that, on our website, I have the link to that bill. As far as some new housing in San Pedro, some of you who've been downtown have noticed the very tall building. It's called the 456 West, and that's across the street from where the old Baxter High School was. And this is affordable housing under construction, although the period to go ahead and apply, I think it was like from it's March 25th to April 23rd, something like that. It's on the website. So people can already apply to be in these units, and it's scheduled to open this summer. When I say this is subsidized housing, and it's got studio 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments, and it's based on households earning below 80% of the area median. And if you go to the link, you can see they have a chart there to tell you what those amounts are. I have an update on the encampments because I do that each month. With the Lomita McCoy encampment and Gaffey Westmont, where the RVs are, I have the numbers there. Outreach teams are working with local law enforcement to call on these people regularly. And I believe the Lomita McCoy is pretty much slotted to perhaps, and maybe Amanda will update that, be slated for an Inside Safe program with Mayor Bass's program. She's focused first in the Venice area and I think Skid Row, but Lomita McCoy will be coming soon. I've given you some information on Mayor Bass updates on Inside Safe and homeless services and her figures, her numbers on what she's been doing in the first 100 days. Okay, she has new tenant protections because the existing tenant protections ended on March 31st, and I won't go through it all, but the back 3 pages of this report goes through all of that. That's the memo from Mayor Bass. Rent stabilization ordinance, I have information for that in the city of LA, and there's a link there if anybody has any questions. I can talk to you offline. LA County tenant protections are different than LA City. So we need to be familiar with all of these. The county did not pass extending the county renter protections, so we'll have to see where that goes. I will continue to track that and report. I wanted to share about safe landing. This is really a whole new avenue. This opened up, and they call it a no wrong door because anybody can go there. It's for families, it's for couples, it's for single people. And also for the first time, this is a facility where somebody does not have to go through a service provider or be in the coordinated entry system. Somebody experiencing homelessness can go right into this facility and they will help them. And this is really a new model. It's interim housing. This one's located in the West Athens area, and it's open 24/7, and they have immediate health care, housing needs. I pretty much outlined it in here. It's trauma-informed programs and housing solutions. So read through this. I'm hoping to find out how Safe Landing came about and how do we replicate it? Because so far, everybody I've talked to with service providers saying this is a win-win. LA County Board of Supervisors incentivizing hiring of mental health workers. So right now we have a huge shortage of not only mental health workers, but almost everybody in the service provider level. Outreach teams, case managers, housing navigators, huge shortage for a variety of reasons. What I like is the supervisors have put together a very comprehensive plan to incentivize more people to go into this field. So starting salaries are pretty low. Somebody doesn't really want to go to school for 4 years and start working at $18 an hour. So what she's offering is loan forgiveness, incentives, bonus incentives for signing, increasing the retention bonus. So there's several bonuses. Implementing shift differentials. You know, people doing this outreach work, it's very stressful to do this for 5 days. Outreach work is very stressful for people. So dealing with that, can we have them work a shift where maybe they're working 3 days in the field and 2 days at home or, offline? So I'm following this because I think this could be a real game changer. We can continue to try and get more mental health facilities and get mobile alternative crisis teams out there, but if we don't have the staff to manage them, they won't be successful, and we won't be able to get the retention, not only of the staff, but of the people that we're trying to help. And the rest of my report is the information I was telling you about Mayor Bass. So like I said, I have links in here. Oh, I see the council member just walked in. Hope I'm reporting this correctly. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to address them.
Great. Thank you for that. I'm going to throw a commercial your way.
Okay.
That if you get a chance to, please take the time to look at her report. It's on our agenda. It's a very comprehensive report. It gives really good information, and I would like to make sure that I support any of you, all of you. Please use that LA HOP contact number for anyone that you see who's experiencing homelessness. It's a good resource. It's something that I think will really help in addressing the need for individuals who you see out there who really need some help. So please use that. It's a good resource. Thank you for that report. So if anyone has an opportunity to ask questions, okay, Melanie?
Yeah, is this working? Is it working? Yeah. Just a little feedback on the LA Hop thing. Something weird happened, and I reported something, and then not until like 3 weeks later, I got this thing that all of a sudden they said it was like 3 or 4 weeks, and it said that they couldn't find the person or something like that.
So the way that LA Hop works, that's why you have to give as much specific information, and a good point of information is when are they normally there, because they're transitory. So, they're usually at this particular location in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening, so they could try and focus on that. Their procedure is to try and outreach at least 3 times to find the person based on the information that you've provided. And it's hit and miss sometimes. So if you haven't heard anything and you still see that person out there, put another one in there. But if you can tell them, what they're wearing, specifically what time of day they're there, that's really helpful.
I just thought it was interesting that I had gotten feedback before. Remember that they had gotten to that person pretty quick, but then it was like 3 or 4 weeks later, they actually reported that they couldn't find the person also.
That's unusual, and Harbor Interfaith is the hub where these go to, and they, like everybody I just was speaking about, have had a lot of staff changes. And so, and sometimes they'll have a day where they have a lot of requests. And so they have to get the right teams out there. And so I'm surprised it took 3 weeks. I normally get a response. Today is getting a response within an hour and a half was a first.
Wow.
But usually within a day or two, you'll get something acknowledging. You should always get an acknowledgement that they received your request, so you know.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? I'll get the board first, and if there's anyone. I see no hands from the board. Would you help us by going to the mic?
I want to know the number because I want to put it in lahop.org. Oh, that's it. Yep, la-hop.org. Yes.
Any other hands? I see no other hands. So, Lori, thank you so much for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Lori.
Really appreciate that. Okay, so with that, now we have agenda item number 6, which is we have representatives, elected offices, other governmental offices, and public safety. So with that, I'd like to really tell you how happy I am to see our new, maybe not so new anymore, right? Been working you pretty hard. Our council member for the 1-5. I love that.
Thank you.
Council member Tim McCarthy.
Yeah, I don't feel so new. I feel kind of old. I was kind of creeping up here. Hey, thank you very much. That's great. Thank you. I was actually scheduled to be somewhere else, but I had a change in plans, and so I thought I just wanted to pop by and say hello and make sure I said congratulations on being in live and in person. It's absolutely fantastic. It's great to see you all. I'm looking forward to working with you. I do have some of my team members here. Amanda Enriquez, my district deputy, is here for San Pedro, and I also have Pamela Thornton, my planning director, is here. So they're each able to give presentations, and I don't want to steal any of their thunder, but I do want to say a couple of overarching things that occurred to me, particularly today. It is important to note that we are very close to starting the budgeting process, the big budget for the city. I happen to sit on the Budget and Finance Committee. We had a committee meeting today. It was our first in-person committee meeting in this session. And we know that the mayor is going to drop her budget on us next week. And so we will be, over the next many months, a couple of months, several weeks, working on that, on the big budget. And so I know that you've had input, and I'm looking forward to reviewing all that input. But just to let you know that that will be probably one of the primary activities over the next several weeks so we can get ready for the new fiscal year. I'm going to let I'm going to hang around, but I'm going to let I'm going to really stress them out. I'm going to let my team members make presentations while I sit here. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I don't want to take away any of their presentation.
Thank you
so,
for
Amanda?
being here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I feel like a student in front of the principal, but I'm Amanda, for those of you who don't know me. I just have a few other things to add. Like he talked about the budget for different projects. We're working with LA Conservation Corps to work on a plan for the trees on Western. So we've already sourced some of the replacement trees, and now we're just working on the maintenance schedule and planning to actually put them in. One other thing that we did want to bring up is the Knoll Hill Dog Park. That will actually come to council on Wednesday as item 7. So we would love that if you guys can advocate for public comment. There's usually a lot of negative comments, so if you have positivity to add, that would be wonderful. I have the telephone number if you guys want me to share that. We do have a ribbon cutting coming up. It is at Anderson Park. So that'll be this Saturday from 10 a.m. until about 1 p.m. We'll have like face painting. The kids will be making rain sticks out of toilet paper cartons. Our theme will be Earth Day, since it is a little bit close to that. Also, Royal Palms will return to regular scheduled hours, so they're no longer going to be closed early on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And I think there was something from the previous meeting about trees on Westmont. So Christian did go down today and take some pictures, and we're going to work together to see how we can address and get those fixed. So I think that's all that I have.
One extra thing. Thank you. That was great. Probably totally stressed her out. One extra thing, this is hot off the presses. As you know, we've been working really, really hard to make sure we complete the plan that was put in place to take down the sign at the end of the 110 freeway. And it included the necessity for me to file a motion that would have been very aggressive. And that motion is still pending, and I'm still fully intend to implement it. But that has probably caused the sign owner to pull the demo permit. The demo permit went into final and was paid for and was pulled. And on my drive down, I was communicating with the representative of that sign owner, and they are asking for my help to do the sidewalk and one lane closure for 2 days to be able to take down that sign. And so we are very, very close to seeing that sign taken down. My expectation is it'll be knowing what it takes to get a lane closure, it would probably be optimistically in the next 10 days or so. So look for that. Look for this, watch this space. We'll let you know when it's going to happen. I was thinking it might be kind of fun for us to let folks know. Maybe we'll go up on the pedestrian bridge and watch it happen and take a few pictures and applaud as it comes down. So we're working hard on that. I can answer questions if you have any for me. Yes, sir.
Hi. Amanda just mentioned trees on Westmont. I'm delighted to hear that because it's an item on the agenda tonight to send a letter to the city and the city.
Yes.
Requesting that those be rehabbed, replaced as needed. Well, Cynthia just asked it. We don't have to do that now, do I?
Please do.
The inclination is we're going to send the letter.
Yes.
But I'm glad to hear that it's on your agenda.
We were anticipating from the discussion you had before, but please do follow up with the letter. It's helpful to me. We compete. You would not be surprised to know I have 14, or not currently 14, but I have other colleagues on the council. Everyone's competing for these dollars. And so when I have community requests, it's very helpful.
Thank you.
Melanie?
What do you think the possibilities are of some of these sidewalks that are like, because I called for a couple of them that are really, really, really bad that are like ski slopes.
Yep.
And I was told, well, they have an ADA list and they're on the list, but they're somewhere way down in the hundreds or the 200s. And eventually a couple of years from now, they'll get to them. And that's what I was told. Is there any way, that's an accident waiting to happen on some of those. Is there any way to expedite some of those more serious sidewalks to get fixed?
There is. And this is going to sound like a counterintuitive answer. Oh, did you want to supplement that answer? Yes. We're going to keep emphasizing to use 311 and make sure they get in because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But while this sounds a little bit counterintuitive, we've been working with other funds to see if we can repair those that can be repaired by the California Conservation Corps. The LA Conservation Corps. We can do the less serious ones, and that, believe it or not, can free up some of our dollars to be able to do the more serious ones faster. And while that sounds weird, that's actually the rule. But we're at the end of a fiscal year. We're at the end of the budget year. And so there's been a lot of money exhausted already. And I'm looking on the budget committee to be able to get on the sidewalk repair dollars early on. I've asked my deputies to assemble in each community the worst of the worst. And then we're going to assemble as much money as we can to use the Conservation Corps. And early in the fiscal year, so July, August, September, October, work on as many as we possibly can and see if we can move it a little faster. And I know you also had the question, you and I talked about internet here. And since today I asked someone to hunt down some opportunity to work with Michael on the internet connection here.
Thank you.
But Pamela's right. 311. Use it because it does matter.
Gwen?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the LA 311. That was I think you had a competition campaign for all of March. So I guess it's our responsibility to continue to try to help spread the news on that. Once again, I guess maybe Pamela will be talking about it, but I just wanted to revisit what Amanda just said. The Knoll Hill Dog Park will be item number 7 on this Wednesday, and to call in and try to encourage. Okay, so we'll get that information later. All right, I just wanted to repeat that. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to give credit where it's due. On the 311 competition, that was San Pedro CPR. They did that. That was great. It was great work by the CPR. It's such a great organization. It was a cool idea. I loved it. Maybe we'll steal it. It's so good we might steal it and use it in the future.
I'd like to ask a question because it boggles my mind. I see the signs on Western saying, 25 miles an hour because of construction, and I'm trying to figure out, am I missing the construction? So you know anything about that?
Actually, I don't. I wonder the same thing. Look around. Where is that construction? I'm happy to see construction happen, but I want to know what it is. So I will look into it. We'll look into it.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So for the dog park information, I'll send it over to you and you can send it to everyone.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you for being here, first of all, for our first meeting. I'd like to introduce our neighborhood council board members to you, but I hope that they take the opportunity to go and shake your hand and get to know you, because you're a great, great person here. Thank you so much for.
Well, thank you. You guys are great. I really, really appreciate you, all the work that you do. You give up your evenings, and I know it's all volunteer time, and I know it's hard because people will come to you and they'll ask for something that you can't do or shouldn't think you do, and it's all hard decisions. I feel your pain. I appreciate your service. So thank you. I look forward to working with you. And I'm a stakeholder. I'm a stakeholder. I live right on the other side of the canyon.
And by the way, we could use committee members, so join any of our committees, will you? I mean, we could certainly use you.
I did come and vote, by the way. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, we have other members of city family here. I see Octaviano, and we also have our public safety representative here. So, would you like to give your report? Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. We have a new slow.
Good evening, guys. For those who don't know me, my name is Officer Jason Brewer, new acting senior lead officer for Northwest San Pedro. I'm excited to be here. I've met some of you guys so far at the month I've been here. I've been in Pedro. I've been in Harbor Division about almost 14 years. So before that, I worked in South Central LA. I've been in law enforcement about 20 years. I'm excited for this challenge. A lot of challenging stuff going on in this area. A lot of good people in this area, though. I'm going to give you guys some brief crime stats from as opposed from March. These are basically all March of 2023 as opposed to March of 2022. Homicides, we had none. That's a good thing. These are Part 1 crimes. Basically, rapes, we had none. Aggravated assaults, we had 8 as opposed to in 2023 we had 9. So we're down a little bit on that. The crimes that it's getting us the most is basically burglaries, GTAs, which is Grand Theft Autos, and burglary for motor vehicles. Those are up across the board, not by much. GTAs are up about 6%, and BFMVs are up about 5%. So one more happened this year this month of 2023 as opposed to 2022. Some of those BFMVs are going to be catalytic converter thefts. Those are continuing to be a problem. Those are usually happening, the hours of those are happening are at night, but some did happen during the day. If I tell people every day, there's no stupid call to the police. People, we don't want to bother you. 911, that is a 911. People want to call and non-emergency, that's an emergency. Somebody's getting their catalytic converter stolen. Those things are like a couple $1,000s. So we're getting killed on those. That's the one thing that the area, I would say, that we have to, I've got extra patrols going out. I'm going to adjust my hours. I'm going to work some nighttime hours as opposed to just daytime hours. But those thefts, burglary from motor vehicles and GTAs. The common car that's being stolen the most for years and years and years, it's usually been Toyotas, Hondas, which the trend continues. However, Kias. The Kia vehicles, the mid-2000 or late 2000 Kia vehicles, and somebody found out a way to use a key, and they're really easy to start now. They have a chip, they get in there, and they're really easy to steal. So Kia's actually done a bunch of recalls. People can go in and they can fix it, but a lot of people just don't choose to do it. So But the Kias are definitely one of the most stolen vehicles right now. A lot of the burglaries actually have gone down. Reason being is because since the pandemic happened, a lot of people do work from home now. And usually burglary suspects, residential burglary suspects, they want to go into your house, they want to take your items and leave. Commercial burglaries are, however, up. Those are going into stores. We have Target, Home Depot, all the stores along the Gaffey corridor. But our residential burglaries have gone down, which is a good thing because, like I said, people are home. I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of people who used to work in offices, used to work in different parts of the city, now stay home and they're able to work from home. So that's what's one thing I would say that's helped with our residential burglaries. Robberies. Like I touched on earlier, we had about 8 robberies. These robberies consisted of a couple strong arm robberies and some commercial robberies. And what basically happens with that, if somebody goes into a store and they take some items, be it a Home Depot, a Target, and if they take the items and then they're confronted by store security, and if store security confronts them and maybe tries to take the items back, or there's any sort of struggle, that is classified as a robbery. It's no longer a theft. It becomes what's called an Estes robbery. So those are the majority of our robberies as well. We did have one robbery with a firearm, but that was of a private person. That's basically it for my crime updates. If anybody has any questions, I'll also like to touch on some areas that I've been paying close attention to. 300 Westmont, as the council member spoke about, and it's a big problem. I'm up there daily doing everything I can. I'm trying to work with some of the with LASA and with some of the nonprofits, because I got rid of 2 RVs the other day, and there's probably 15 more. But that's been a problem that's been brewing up there for a while that I'm trying to address. Unfortunately, some of the laws that the city has right now, I can't just take them. They used to be, easy. If anything was past 6 months unregistered, I could just tow it. It was easy. Those rules no longer apply based on the community care doctrine, and it makes it tough. So that's a work in progress. Also, as Councilman Tim McGoster talked about, was the welcome sign, or the billboard right by the Welcome Park. As soon as you come off the 110 freeway onto Gaffey, multiple patrols there. I'm always going by there. The library on 9th and Gaffey. These are just some of the lokes that I'm paying a lot of attention on. I'm trying to do as many extra patrols as I can. Mirrorless apartments, all these places. So we also have a unit that's located inside of the Crow office, the community relations office, where I work out of, where all the other senior lead officers throughout the city work. They're called the Frank unit. It's a couple guys. His name is Officer Chris Ike and Officer Alan Woodard. Those guys do outstanding work. They do a lot of outreach with the homeless, and a lot of these homeless guys, they try to help them, but if you got a warrant and you're committing crimes, they're going to find you. Some of their stats, they had 10 felony arrests, they had 12 misdemeanor arrests, and they did about 24 different 4118 warnings. So that's within, they don't even, out of those 30 days, they only work about 13 days. So those guys are out there pounding the pavement, shaking the trees, and making a lot of good arrests. And with that, that's basically all I have. Like I said, I'm new to this position. I'm learning. Look forward to working with everybody. You guys can call me anytime. Let me give you my cell phone number. I put some flyers in the back as well with some numbers that you can call for graffiti removal, all those different things. But my city cell phone number that I have with me basically all the time, area code 213-706-8305. And like I said, that is my city issued phone. I do get days off though, so I check it as much as I can. But sometimes when I'm on days off or late at night, but I try to. If you send me a text message or an email, my email is 39132. Once again, 39132 at lapd.online. You can send me an email as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. With that, does anybody have any questions?
Let's go around the table. We'll go around the table first, and then we'll catch any questions you have out there. So, Melanie?
No.
Yes.
Is it now? Okay. Two things.
Yes, ma'am.
The bathrooms, I know Almer was working on this before. It seems to be an ongoing problem. And just to bring you up to speed, the bathrooms seem to be an ongoing problem at Harbor Highlands where the locks are broke again. So we have a lot of people using it as shelter and doing drugs at night. The other problem that propped up, I've got a neighbor that come banging on my door last night at 11:15. And she was like, we're trying to sleep and we cannot. And I'm like, okay. And I went outside and loud mariachi music. So I'm like, what the heck? And I'm looking, and right in front of Target again, we've got the taco vendor set up again where I removed them from there because it says no parking stopping at any time. And it's a safety hazard where they keep lining up there. And, playing really loud mariachi music, I mean really loud. And I was like, wow. And I've got a videotape of it that was sent to me that I can play for you so you can hear it. But it's crazy. So I don't know what we do for that.
So we had an illegal vendor task force 2 weeks ago. We got together with the health department. All we do basically is just stand by because our enforcement from the higher ups above us, we do not enforce that right now. However, county health still does. They go out, we stand by so they don't get us because they've been assaulted in the past. So we go out, stand by while they last. So they did PCH in Wilmington. They did PCH in Figueroa. They did about 3 or 4 down on Fifth and Pacific. They did them on 4th.
This place was deemed unsafe because it is assigned no stopping or anything at any time, red curb. And so Ike said that they were able to do something and not wait for LA County because of that. And they were doing the same thing before with the loud mariachi music, and they're a noise ordinance hazard.
Yes. So even before, like as Officer Ike said, I went before the task force even happened. I went out and took down a couple of them that were just in front of on 5th and Gaffey. Just past the McDonald's. So I went and took care of a couple of those. They were same thing, like in front of the Big 5, 6 and Gap. They're right in front of the Big 5, and they moved and got all their stuff.
I think they're the same people that were there.
Okay.
It's a churro person and a taco person.
Okay. They're honestly nice people, but I tell them, hey, here's the thing: we don't do enforcement, but I can put enough pressure where I can put tickets on their cars, and if I put tickets on their vehicles. Then they start moving. So it's a gray area that's kind of tough right now. We're doing the best we can to address it, though.
Alrighty, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Gwen.
Hi, Jason. It was nice to see you at the CPAD meeting.
Yes, ma'am. There's another one on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll see you there.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention if you could possibly liaise with Michael Signorelli regarding Peck Park. We did have an incident which made the news. There have been some passive issues permitting, being more attentive to getting event permitting during the weekend, which has actually solved the problem considerably. But there was a discussion about having a little more passing through the park and checking through on the weekends when there's less staff. But you should talk to Michael Signorelli about what the staffing is on the weekends, if that changes any with the rec and park, where there are more people here and there's more attention on the weekends. But, it's based on rec and park not necessarily having the full staffing all through the week. So Just wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the incident that happened in the summer, last summer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Everything's going to we're going to start working with them definitely more about the permits that are being pulled.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, hey, if we can put some insight and give insight. If somebody wants to come and do an event at the park, we can't say, hey, you can't do an event. However, we can give them some insight and guidance. And, there's a lot of folks out there that do want to come out and rent parks and have a good time in our family events. And that's what we encourage. But we also want everybody to be able to enjoy the park and not have any, bad events like that happen. So I'll be in contact with him. Thank you, ma'am.
Kelly.
May we please have police presence around the schools? Because what we're having is we don't have crossing guards anymore. I'm a teacher and the school representative for 7th Street. And we have a corner of 7th and I don't know what the name of the street is. It's above Weymouth, below Dotson. And is it Valerie? Valerie? They come down from 9th Street and they've run that stop sign continuously. And especially about 4 or 5 o'clock. And it's not that we have a lot of children at 4 or 5 o'clock, but we do have those straggler kids that are being picked up. I sat there one night and watched like 7 cars in a row below that stop sign. And in the morning, it's the same thing. And I don't know why we don't have crossing guards anymore. I don't know who to contact with that. We've been trying. But we have no police presence. And they park and do whatever they feel like. And they run that stop sign, and it's really hard. And my school has asked me to please see what we can do.
Is that just your school, ma'am?
No. You know what? I live by Leland, and
Okay.
it's the same thing at Leland. They're running the stop signs. They put stop signs in on Walker that I guess people are not apparently aware of because they run them like crazy.
Okay.
But it's a lot of it. They're just running stop signs. And, while I'd like them to not run them anywhere, but please don't run them by schools.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Okay.
we don't have crossing guards.
Yeah,
So-
I seen some crossing guards down at Barton Hill School, some other schools just today out when I was
right.
out. But
Well, Cabrillo has one, and somebody
Yeah.
still got hit.
wow,
I was driving home, and I saw somebody had gotten hit on 7th and Cabrillo.
Okay.
So I can probably imagine that was somebody that ran that stop sign because they do it continuously.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Do you have?
We did recently put in a motion.
Can you come up to the mic? Really hard to hear. Thank you.
Come and join.
So we did recently put in a motion to address the crossing guard situation and to have LAUSD have more support or figure out what's going on with the crossing guards. But if at each individual school, if you guys do a petition for a crossing guard, just send it to me, and then we can take that back to the council member.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. And can I get your information later? Please, thank you.
And in the time being, I'll try to do as much as I can to get some extra patrols out there and then talk to my traffic guys. There's a lot of traffic guys at Harbor that are from South Traffic, but they come to our station, do their reports and stuff. Some of the motor guys, the motorcycle officers, they love spots like that. They could just go and, usually it only takes a couple people to see, and then people are like, oh, yeah, they're giving out, I don't know how much those tickets cost, expensive, $400 or $500. So.
Well, we finally got it situated with our buses because they were parking in our bus zones.
Oh, you talking about parents who are picking up their kids?
Parents picking up kids. And I'm like, this is ridiculous because it's a safety issue. I teach special needs kids, and I can't get them to my bus. My bus can't be double parked. And, at times we've had to wait 40 minutes. Yeah. So, but this year, we haven't had the presence that we did.
Okay.
In the past.
And I can tell you, ma'am, that's almost every school here, not just in Pedro and Harbor City. Right. And it's people, a lot of parents get there last minute, and they think all the kids are important, but it's a struggle in every neighborhood. But I totally understand as far as, my main concern is the safety, and we'll work on the other stuff too. But just like you said, people, stop signs, they're there for a reason. So.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm trying to get the questions from the board first, but I saw your hand. Is this something to respond to the crossing guard issue?
It was to say I'm from the board member's office for LA's office. Okay, please, thank you.
You'll have an opportunity to make, any kind of update, and maybe you can address that at that point. Okay. Chris, and then Thomas.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, just in reference to the traffic enforcement, which is a problem all over San Pedro, and I'm sure the rest of the city as well. Are there any resources, something along the lines of PSAs or some kind of public messaging that the department might be able to circulate, through social media or whatever? It's something we've discussed producing within our own youth and outreach, but in as much as it would be practically difficult to just do more patrolling, because I'm sure you're looking for that anyway. If there is some kind of social messaging and it raises other people's awareness, it's possible to have some impact. I mean, I think if people feel like maybe they're being watched, they might behave a little better. But, 7th and Cabrillo, for instance, it's almost, it's if you could make a lot of money betting on people running those stop signs. So there might be some places that might be a little, in terms of enforcement, if you were to send somebody around, let's say dismissal time from school or whatever, just the presence of a car, even briefly, if you were to go through a couple of neighborhoods and just sort of pass by, the sight of a black and white might make a few more people slightly better behaved, just as, in terms of time efficiency.
Absolutely. I like the idea for the actual social media as well. That's the world we live in now, social media. So, but yeah, that would be, I like that idea a lot. So let me talk with my higher ups about that and see if we can.
It's relatively cheap and a lot of people are going to get their eyes on it. So
yeah, 100%. I agree. Thank you.
Thomas.
All right, I'll switch topics a little bit, but still stay with the schools.
Can you move the mic
a little closer? So thank you. It's great to see you, and we'll shift the topic. We'll stay in the schools, but just wanted to make sure you're aware on the 18th of April, we'll be having the third student police dialogue at the YWCA, and I'm not sure if you've been invited. I know we've had officers from this area participate in the past. The San Pedro Rotary Club has been doing this for about 3 years now. This will be the second one at San Pedro High. We also moved in the middle school this year at Dana. So I just wanted to put that on your radar. You might, if you're newer to the area, you might not get invited. But if you do get invited, I wanted you to know what it is. And it's just an hour where students and police officers get together with trained mediators to just talk about issues, see it from their perspective, see it from your perspective. And this would be a great topic for them to discuss too, right? The importance of safety, because a lot of them are getting those driver's licenses or have those parents that are maybe they're going to start enforcing now. So just wanted to extend an invitation and thank you for your presentation this evening.
I got an invite to that. Officer Melody Shortle invited me. They changed the days, but the 18th, it's like, yeah, I put it on my calendar. I will be there. It's a Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday?
Yeah, it's a Tuesday,
okay.
Yeah, and we had to change with the strike. So, well, thank you for your flexibility.
Yes, I will be there. I think dialogue between officers and students is a huge thing. I grew up as an explorer, but as a young kid growing up in the inner city, some relationships between police and the community wasn't always the greatest. So I think dialogue between police officers and young adults, soon to be young adults, is a great thing to have. So yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. Thank you, sir.
John.
Hi, my name is John DeMeglio. I worked with Dan and some of the SLOs, the female SLO on the coastal and also the central. And I'm part of the lowrider community. And there's been problems and there's been little things going on. But for the most part, most people just want to show their cars, like myself. And I've been sort of the go-between. So I'm just going to lend myself out to you if you need it. And I just want to let you know that the lowrider community wants the police presence. They like the police. Don't think they don't. They want it there. But, and they want to cruise too. And they want it controlled because the old car clubs and stuff like that are just a bunch of old guys that want to show their cars, basically. And sometimes you get some of these younger guys that are, want to bump it up a little bit. And we appreciate the police presence, and we also appreciate the fact that we can go out and show our cars. They had a little cruise last Friday ago.
10th Pacific.
Huh?
10th Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little get together, but as summer goes on, it's going to get more and more bigger. So
Okay.
If you ever want my number to
say it again.
If you want my number to
absolutely. Yeah, I'll get that for you. Thank you.
If you have any problems and stuff like that, because we want it policed.
Okay.
Yeah, we want it policed. Thank you.
Yeah, I've had a couple calls. Not many, just a couple. I think it ended pretty promptly. They were there for a couple hours, having a good time. Melanie Shortle has more issues down on Paseo Del Mar. Some of them, like I said, I'm not trying to call out younger guys. There were some younger and older guys that were parked on all different sides of the street, parking in the red and different things like that. We went and talked to them. A lot of people moved their cars. They were cool. We want to, I understand. I understand people have nice cars. The cars are beautiful. We just got to kind of have that line where we have good communication between the officers and the people who are attending the little events. And everybody, people don't dump trash. People kind of clean up when they leave. And, there's always going to be people who oppose it. And there's always going to be people who enjoy it. So we got to kind of, mediate between both sides. So, yes, sir.
Okay. I think we've hit all the board members. So, Lori, would you like to ask a question? Please.
Please. Well, it's great to meet you, and I look forward to working with you on homelessness issues. I just want to make sure I heard correctly. Did you say if you see somebody stealing a catalytic converter, that is a 911 call?
100%.
Okay, but only if you see it happening, because if it's after the fact, it's not really...
It's not really going to be after the fact unless it's the person who got their catalytic converter stolen.
Right.
But if you see somebody actively stealing,
okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to clarify.
Breaking into a car, call them.
Okay. 100%. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? No? Okay. Thank you very much for the report. Welcome to Northwest, and we hope to see you every month, second Monday of the month.
You'll be seeing a lot of me.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Octaviano? I'm sorry?
Do you have a board member about this school district here?
School district.
Where do you want me to go?
No. Okay, let's get to school board. And thank you for being here, school board member representative.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Dee Dee Watts. I am the Chief of Staff to Board Member Ortiz Franklin for LAUSD School Board. I don't have many updates today, but I do want to let you know that I'll be the person attending the meetings. I believe you met our policy director last month, and we made a switch, so I'll be here in the meetings. The updates that I have include College Signing Day. I believe Emma talked about that last month, but we do have College Signing Day on April 29th. At Cal State Dominguez Hills from 10 to 2 p.m., and you can register to attend the event. It's an opportunity for our seniors to share their post-secondary plans and for students TK through 11th grade to have exposure and access to college. Hello. And one of our family advisory council members is here and is supportive. Okay, I can send you the links after, Ray, if you want to be able to share it with people so that they can register. Also, our instructional calendar was approved by the board last month. The big thing to know about that is next year, the winter break will be 2.5 weeks, and the following 2 years, winter break will be 2 weeks. So there is a transition period happening there, but the Thanksgiving holiday and spring break remain the same. Summer school begins June 26th, and they are now, registration is now open for summer school. Again, I can share the links for that. This week, 11th grade students are taking the SAT on the 12th. So just be aware of that. And then we have Smarter Balance assessments and AP testing coming up over the next month. So those are my updates. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. I did bring cards to share with everyone.
Anyone around the table? Chris?
Hi, thanks for coming. I was just wondering if you could give us I'm not sure how complicated the full answer is, but the rationale behind shortening the winter break. I know that with parents in general, I think probably with the faculty, the break as it existed was pretty popular. So why was it changed?
So yes, there's a longer and a short answer. There was a survey that was conducted with families, staff, to get input, but the survey was not necessarily to determine whether or not the break would be shorter or longer. The board members ultimately wanted to get the voices of the people who didn't get a chance to complete the survey, those who may not be on social media or have internet access, and ultimately wanted to ensure that students who are impacted the most, who may depend on schools for meals and also be lagging behind academically, don't have that long of a break and won't miss out on a week worth of meals and instruction. So that's the long and short of it.
Thank you.
Thomas.
Just wanted to thank you for coming and wanted to share with the community the opportunity that she's mentioned for, pre-K through 12 that'll be at CSU Dominguez Hills. Had great prizes, had activities for young people, snacks and things to participate. So if you enjoyed the extravaganza at Peck Park with your family, it's like that on steroids with, books and lots of good activities. So not really much of a question in there, but just promoting what you're doing and thanking you for that and what your service to the community.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
Okay. Kelly.
Okay. In looking at that survey, 70% of the people who voted on that survey were against changing the schedule. It was done without contract negotiations with UTLA, so a PERB has been filed so that it may not stick as said, because as we all know, Carvalho tried to change it last year and add days to our calendar, and he's not supposed to do that without contract negotiations. And he did it without contract negotiations, so a PERB has been filed. And I'm sorry, but I'm really disappointed in the outcomes of this. If you're going to ask for people's voices, and I understand the feeding thing, I believe we should feed students every day, regardless of whether they're in school or not. Loss of learning, we know that children also need time to decompress, but as do teachers. I tell parents, we have time off because we want to remember that we love children. And 2 weeks at the busiest time of the year is just not enough time to really decompress. 3 weeks has been perfect. And I've been teaching since before it was 3 weeks and since 3 weeks. I've been with the district 30-something years. So I'm really disappointed in our board in not looking at what the parents wanted and what the students wanted and what the teachers asked for. And I'm really tired of, I'm glad that they finally, I spoke to your person last time about the plans they had for, I can't think of the name of it right now. And they have finally they've negotiated some stuff for helping students that are having problems and stuff. So they are finally contracting with that, or bargaining with it, I should say. So I'm not trying to kill the messenger or be mad at you, but I think that everyone needs to know that this was done illegally. The change was not done legally. It's not supposed to be contracted without contract negotiations.
Thank you. Any other questions for me?
Any other questions in the audience? Okay, well, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate your time. Octaviano from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and I also see Michael back there who may want to say something about any park activities or announcements, but Octaviano, go ahead, and then we'll go to Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Octaviano Rios. I'm with the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. So many of you know me. Others on the board don't know me in person. So it's a pleasure to be here after 3 years of after virtual meetings. I'm almost speechless because 3 years of interacting with a lot of you. I got to see some of you, thanks to John, and hosting a outreach a booth at the polling location for Northwest. So I got a chance to represent the department there and be a partner with the Neighborhood Council. But just opening it up to a big thank you to all of you for the hard work it took to really bring your meetings to a virtual environment. I know at the beginning it was a hardship. It certainly was for staff of the department to learn a whole new tool and to try to teach that tool to board members and committee chairs and board presidents, and then developing policies and protocols that we actually reshared to a lot of our departments and commissions to use within their platforms. So thank you to, and a lot of those great ideas, those innovations. Victor, thank you for all of those suggestions along the way. Victor is one of the, as well as your chair, is one of the folks, and Lori, that constantly interacted with me over the last 3 years with some of the challenges, technical, the virtual issue of it. Now the transition to live meetings. You guys did the heavy lifting. I, of course, did a little bit of advocating on the back end, and I will continue to do that as best as I can in terms of our resources. Our department's small, but your partnerships are pretty large. You work with the city clerk's elections division, coming to an end with your elections, your city clerk, neighborhood council funding division. You have a new representative. You lost Shauna, who was fantastic, Shauna Dungo, who moved on to the elections division. But you have Anna Cardoso, I believe that's her last name, who's quickly learning about neighborhood councils and their unique role in our neighborhood, in our city, at City Hall. And of course, you have Elise Rudin, who's your deputy city attorney, who works on legal matters that pertain to the board, as well as any conflicts of interest you may have with any association and organizations outside of your neighborhood council. If you have a conflict, you suspect of it, don't hesitate to reach out to Elise. If you forget her name, don't know her contact information, I can always be your point of contact first. Of course, I don't get involved with a lot of legal matters. But so I've been with the department. I feel like I have to reintroduce myself, Mr. Chair. So I've been with the department for 7 years. 10 before that with elected offices, 2 with the mayor and 8 with a council member in the San Fernando Valley. So I know how to navigate City Hall. So don't hesitate to reach out to me. You have great partners, of course, at City Hall now with the council member and the talented and experienced staff. But I'm more than happy to lend a hand with information. Let's see here. So I mentioned some of the representatives. Congress of Neighborhoods, just kind of some housekeeping matters that the department wanted us to promote. The Congress of Neighborhoods, which is your annual conference for neighborhood councils and stakeholders to attend, will now be in person on September 23rd. So no more virtual Congress. So that's great news for those that want the face-to-face interaction at City Hall. I think it's going to be held at City Hall. It is. It's at City Hall. It's free. Parking is free. All you have to do is put some gas and tread over to City Hall. So I encourage folks to carpool, which many do. And the planning committee is actively recruiting members to join their planning committee or a subcommittee. So there's one way to support the Congress of Neighborhoods. Another way is to take their survey to give some suggestions on how to make it a very effective and representative Congress. And last but not least, they do this on an annual basis. They request funds and sponsorships from neighborhood councils. So take those into consideration. And for any information on the Congress of Neighborhoods, go to neighborhoodcongress.la, and you'll get all kinds of information there up to the minutes. Of course, thank you to the candidates that ran for the Northwest San Pedro election. Unofficially, congratulations to those that won on April 14th. Like it was said earlier, those results will become official. So just keep tabs on that. And last but not least, another housekeeping matter that I should read is the conflict of interest reminder. If you don't mind, Mr. Chair. And then I can take questions or anything like that. Any board member who may have a conflict of interest and has not consulted with the Office of the City Attorney should move to have the matter tabled until the next meeting so that the board member has an opportunity to consult with the City Attorney's office. If the board declines to table the matter, the board member may want to consider recusal prior to the matter being discussed. If choosing to recuse, the board member should state for the record all reasons for the recusal and that they will be leaving the meeting during the discussion and voting. Last, because recusal may not always be sufficient, tabling of the matter at issue is always preferred to allow time for the board member to consult with the City Attorney's office. So I'm not a lawyer. I can't entertain questions or make determinations. I can just provide some general guidance. But I do encourage board members to actively work with the City Attorney's office on any concerns that pertain to you as an individual. And of course, your legal liaison is your main point of contact for anything that legal matters that pertain to the board. And that will be the point person for the City Attorney's office to work on anything that pertains to Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council. And that's Elise Rudin, who's very experienced and is also the manager of the division. So you get 2 for 1. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, around the table, any questions for Octaviano? I see no hands. Out in the audience, any questions for our representative from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment? I see no hands. Thank you, Octaviano.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back to everybody, too. Thank you. I know. Thanks, Kelly.
Michael, would you like to say a few words on behalf of the department?
Sure. All right. Thank you, and welcome back to Peck Park, your park. My name is Michael Signorelli. I'm a facility director here with Peck Park. Peck Park, just so you guys know, we are now at full staff. Three full-timers. Each of our parks should function with 3 full-timers, and then we have a variety of part-timers that we hire in to help us work our leagues, our classes, our clinics, and as well as like the other things we have to deal with that are outside the realm of just the youth and the parents, which would be things like, I know have been a part of the discussion, the permitting process that we deal with. We have Friends of the Canyon at Peck Park who are now helping to preserve and maintain the canyon. The city goes in once a year. They take down, the high shrubbery, and then it gets ignored till the next year. So we're trying to help that become a foreign element where our people and rec and parks are working together to maintain, I like to call it your canyon. I'm kind of a visitor here as well. I work here. I spend more time here than I do at home, but I love it. It's my chance to give back to the community and the kids. I have worked for Rec and Park for going on 22 years. And this is the only park I have brought my son to. I like to share that with the patrons because that means something to me. I've worked Jordan Downs, I've worked at the beautiful Expo Center, but the staff and what they do for the youth in this community is absolutely amazing. And that is now just spreading to our sports leagues. Right now, you're going to see tons of kids on Saturdays. It's going to be busy because we're going to have t-ball, baseball, and softball that's going to open this Thursday, opening ceremonies, and then that's the community that's coming back to us. So we're going full board, t-ball, softball, baseball, opening ceremonies, and then we also open. We are really pushing, I should say we, PEC, but also Rec and Parks, are pushing for GPLA, Girls Play Los Angeles. So it's one of the programs that subsidize city programs. The idea is beautiful. It's to get more female participation. So anything that reads GPLA, $25. In comparison to our co-ed, baseball, $140. Basketball, we are now a Clipper site, so we were able to bring down the cost from $140 to $120. We're hoping that will continue. What are we registering for? We're registering for summer camp. PEC runs a huge summer camp. We used to travel to field trips with 2 buses. We'll fill 1 bus, if not move into another bus. We're hoping to serve anywhere from 50 to 75 youth in the community. And that's going to be now ages 5 to 15. So we've expanded to add a teen program. A lot of times they are a forgotten group. Once they're 12 years old and into middle school, some centers, some cities forget that age group, not the city of Los Angeles. At some of our other parks, we have the Class Park Teen Program, Clean and Safe Spaces. Here, we are just bringing in teens, whether it be leagues or like our summer camp for that teen program. Spring program, martial arts is actually hitting pretty big. We are combining that to 1 class on Fridays. I believe we are in the realm of 14 to 16 participants. That's co-ed. Girls who register for that, it's only $25. Boys, $80. What else do we have for spring? That's a big one. We have our little hitters, which is getting our youth ready for the league. They're 3 and 4 year olds. That's an $80 class. We have open play on Friday night, which is pickleball. I don't know, Councilmember McOsker may have said that he's put a motion through or motion in to get our lower courts resurfaced to do dual purpose. It would be for tennis and for pickleball. So that's going to come to you guys. So pickleball is coming to Peck Park. We do have open play Friday nights. What else? So I can get volleyball. We are actually doing off-season volleyball, which shows that our counselors and our coaches did an excellent job because we have a volleyball league in addition to the softball league that we're starting. So that's up and running. We have a folklorical class. They performed at our extravaganza. That was outstanding. We have been advertising because the city is working with the Special Olympics for adaptive sports. So we did offer stroller fitness. Unfortunately, we didn't get any registration. And we do have our older adult program, which we have a Monday club that meets every Monday, every month, obviously unless we're off on a holiday. And then we have a garden club, which is well attended, and they meet the 4th Tuesday, so the last Tuesday of every month here in this very same auditorium. I could talk all day about Peck Park and Recreation because I love it. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, comments, anything.
Okay, around the table, we'll start with Gwen.
Hey, Michael. I just want to say I was there and participating as with a vending area, and that was an amazing event. It was really well attended. Of course, Tim was there. His wife, Connie, who's part of Grand Vision, brought drums, and it was just a really great day. Of course, the Kiwanis came. They gave away a ton of books. The kids were really excited about that. And I was there representing the Department of Sanitation, the same green bins that I hope that all of you might pick up before you leave. This is part of a whole new thing. The kids used that, and the parents, they knew what it was for, and then they used it to put books and goodies and all sorts of things in. So it was a really great event. But I was wondering, Michael, when you're talking about busing in and bringing in kids from different areas, how far away are these kids coming from, and are there underrepresented communities that are utilizing Peck Park at this moment?
We don't bus in any kids.
Oh. I misunderstood
I don't know if that was a little. I must have said something a little confusing. No, we have other parks that provide the communities with those other programs that the city doesn't give to Peck Park. One of the main ones, and it was where I started with the city, was with the Class Parks teen program, but that's urban impacted areas. So you're traveling through the 1-5, you're going to Harbor City, Normandale, and Wilmington. Those parks, they offer very similar activities to Peck Park, but it's $10. So we are a self-sustaining center, so we don't have the opportunity to do that, but I think that's maybe where a lot of those kids are going. They're going to those centers, and the parents are completely overrunning the registration system. I've heard it's been quite troublesome, but we don't bus kids in. We bus our field trip campers to different destinations, but we don't bus kids into Peck. If anyone's coming in, it's going to be. We used to do play days where we would bring all of our Harbor District to Peck Park for one summer camp day of fun. But we reach out to our other centers. So if we don't have 3 or 4 teams in a league, no matter what it is, we're on the phone and we're reaching out to Bogdanovich, Harbor City, Normandale, and Wilmington. Hey, we need other teams. We're all part of the same city. We're all in the same age group. Let's get together and we'll form a league. So that may be some of it. So we will have kids from Harbor City, Normandale, and Wilmington participating in leagues at Peck Park.
Thank you.
Any other questions around the table? John DeMeglio?
Hi. Just to let you know, my son was a product of Peck Park, and it's a great program. He did most of the things that you're talking about, especially the martial arts part of it, stuff like that. But I didn't hear you say anything about senior citizen programs. And one other thing is a big part of it is growing up, and we talked with issues, was the Peck Park pool. That was huge. That was huge.
Oh, goodness, yes.
For the relay teams, all the teams that were involved. It was huge for junior lifeguards and everything else. The programs were out. It just, and I wish something like that, we can fix that pool and get that back going. And then he was a product of the city because of this. Junior lifeguards at the beach. And then got a job with the city of Kathy Pool.
Oh, very nice.
So it's good for kids.
Awesome, John. I appreciate that. We appreciate when we hear great things. But what I tell our patrons too is we can't fix anything at Peck Park unless we hear about what needs to be fixed. For example, I had a patron come and pretty much tell me how disgusting our bathroom is down at the field house, which is now very vital to our programs because we have tons of kids down there every day. So, of course, now we put in job orders and make requests of our supervisors to make sure it gets done. But those little things, guys, we don't have enough eyes and ears, so we're constantly thanking our patrons for coming and telling us. Knock on wood, I don't care how bad it is, because we can't fix it unless we know. So please, tell us. We love the great things, the good things, but we need to know those bad things as well so we can help remedy that situation.
Good to see a great leader like you in this position.
And one of the things, you might not hear the word senior as much because they're trying to push away from the word senior. Yeah, we have older adults. We have a wellness center. They're working. The city is juggling possibilities for that name. And we're trying to expand. For example, I'm working with our garden club to set up field trips to the Getty Museum, both for the gardens and for the art inside. Those are little things we can do in-house. I know Gwen had a question. Or
it wasn't that, but you were just talking about, letting you know about issues, but there was one particular issue where you possibly would want to call the police directly as opposed to calling the staff.
Yes, and I actually did receive information from the desk officer. I called, I said, I've received information that there are homeless people going in and out of, I think maybe we're done, and this is me trying to get more of a grasp of the area around me too, but they told me they're coming in and out of the canyon, they're bringing large items, and it looks like they're getting ready to drive their cars. And she told me, sir, are you watching this? Is this what you're seeing? And unfortunately, I had to tell her, no, I'm not looking at this. This is what a patron called and told me. She said that patron needs to call. The person who is witnessing the activity should be the one calling. And unfortunately, I couldn't give them any information. But I do jump on the phone. I do the same thing that patron does. I jump on the phone. I call the non-emergency. If I think it's getting to the point where safety is involved, then I would call Officer Omer. Now Jason's going to be my go-to, but that's what I would do. I would text him. I would call him to make sure he's getting the info, especially after the incident. That's one of the main things we changed is just our communication. Our SLO, Jason Brewer, is going to get everything that we know when we know a permit is happening. For example, people ask us why you need a permit. If you walked the grounds here today, this morning, you would have been disgusted. It was awful. There was trash bags piled upon trash cans everywhere from the Summerlin side all the way down to our ball diamond. I had 2 people ask me for a permit. I had 6 messages this morning that there's hundreds of people on the ball diamond. Hundreds! And no restroom. That's the permit process. That's the problem with it, is we can't police the people who don't have a permit. We know who does, and we can take care of them and make sure that they're doing the right things. But your park was overrun yesterday. Obviously, it's a good thing they're celebrating, but our maintenance woke up to a terrible, terrible mess. So that's why we ask for permits, so we can tell our supervisors, our maintenance, our carpenters, here's what's happening Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be hundreds of people. Please bring in more maintenance. Please make sure the restrooms are open. But we need your help with those kind of things too, because then we can get a hold of that process even more. It's just going to get better for us because of the support from LAPD, and now our neighbors are giving us the heads up now.
Any questions from the audience? None? Michael, thank you very much for being here. And
all right, guys.
We're very happy to use the park.
Thank you so much for coming back to us. We appreciate it. We know you could have gone other places around here. So anything Peck Park can do for the community and the council, that's what we're here for. So please ask.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And we have one additional representative from the downtown PBID district, and that is Yolanda Regalado.
Hello, everyone. This was kind of a last-minute thing that I came down here. Just want to give you an idea of who I am. My name is Yolanda Regalado. I'm president of the San Pedro and executive director for the San Pedro BID. And if you don't know what the San Pedro BID is, it's the property development downtown San Pedro. We have 6 square blocks or 8 square blocks of what we now is developing into the historic part of downtown San Pedro. And a lot of people don't know about us, and they don't know what we're doing. I know you've heard of the sign that's going up and things that are happening downtown. What the San Pedro BID are the property owners that own the property down there are assessed money that goes into a budget. That budget has to be utilized within the BID area. So that's for cleaning, sanitation, beautification, security, and event planning. And if you were to look at the new lights that were put up, you can see them all the way down Pacific. You can see them down on Beacon Street. That's all part of the BID, all part of the beautification. We are having Fleet Week coming in the end of May. Just want to let you know we're going to have 6 fleet ships coming in to the harbor. And they're expecting quite a bit of people coming in and out of the harbor development down here. So I just wanted to introduce you to who I am. If there's anything that you want to know about the BID, feel free to, reach out and what's coming up, new things that are happening down there. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So if anybody has any questions, and by the way, I am a native of Pedro. I'm a retired deputy sheriff, so I kind of know the area really well. And if there's anything that you do need to know, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
I think you're a product of Peck Park also, right?
Oh, yeah, I was. Yeah. My first job was at Peck Park. Seriously, it was. Anything else?
Any questions from around the table?
Nothing? Okay.
No?
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Audience? You. None. Thank you for being here, Ms. Regalado. Okay, I think that it takes care of agenda item number 6. We're going to go ahead and move to agenda item number 7, and that is a presentation from the Clearwater Project update. We have a few people here, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
So thanks again. Is this on? Okay, there you go. Thanks again for inviting us to give you an update on the Clearwater Project. I'm Glenn Acosta. I'm in the Public Information Office for our agency. And today I brought with me Russ Vicaria, who is actually the guy overseeing the construction of the new tunnel. And so what I thought I would do is to give you a brief overview of the project and then let Russ talk about what's going on with the project and where we are. So our agency is responsible for managing the sewage, or what we call wastewater, for half the population in Los Angeles County, 5.5 million people. And our plant in Carson, called the Joint Water Pollution Control Plant, is the largest plant in our system. It is the hub for the main sewer system serving the southern half of the county. And if you live in South Shores, if you live in Manhattan Beach, Pasadena, Monrovia, you depend on this plant operating 24/7 without failure. And so what happens is sewage comes into the plant, and in less than half a day it's turned into clean water. And that clean water goes out to the ocean through 2 tunnels that were built 60 and 80 years ago. So the Clearwater Project is about addressing this aging infrastructure by building a brand new tunnel. Because if these tunnels fail, the local waterways would be impacted, and not in a good way. So how do you build a tunnel nowadays? So, if you were to build a tunnel no matter where it is in the world, you would use what's called a tunnel boring machine. In the front, you have a cutting head that eats away the rock and soil, kind of like a cheese grater. You have a middle section that erects the walls of the tunnel. And then you have this long trailing gear that you see here. It's kind of like a mini city supporting the front operations. So the way, oops, there you go. 1 second. So the way this TBM, or tunnel boring machine, works is that it goes about 5 feet and it stops, and then the walls of the tunnel are put up until you make a ring. And then the machine pushes off. That ring goes about 5 feet and starts putting up more walls. And this is the process that goes through in building a tunnel. So essentially it builds a tunnel as it digs. And so to lower the TBM into the ground, we had to build a shaft. And we did that at our empty lot next to our plant in Carson. And so 2 summers ago, we started lowering the machine into the shaft in sections. And so at the bottom of the shaft is where you started assembling that machine and getting it ready for its journey 7 miles long from Carson to the beach. And so if you were to go, there we go. So if you were to look at the shaft today, this is what it would look like. And you would see the entrance of the tunnel right there. So here to talk about where we are in construction is my colleague, Russ Vicaria.
Thanks, Glenn. So currently, the entire tunnel alignment is 7 miles long. Currently, we're about 2.3 miles into the excavation, and you can see where it's listed there. So right now, we're under Gaffey, going south, and we haven't gotten quite to Home Depot yet. So this is a cross section, so it's kind of like a side view of the tunnel alignment. So we started at the Carson shaft on the left side, and we're going to end at the exit shaft at Royal Palms Beach. And the tunnel is shown with the red dots. So the tunnel is pretty much flat, and you can see the ground level changes. So the first half of the tunnel is pretty shallow. It's between 45 and about 80, 90 feet deep. Then when we go under the Palos Verdes Hills, it gets much deeper. It gets as deep as 460 feet. And one of the things I wanted to point out is that the blue rectangles with the line is the groundwater level. So this tunnel machine is under groundwater the whole way because of its depth. So it's designed to handle significant water pressures, most of which we'll find under the Palos Verdes Hills. So here's the path that the tunnel machine has taken since it started. So we came out of the shaft site. We went south down Figueroa Street. And then we made a right turn under the Harbor Freeway. And we were monitoring the Harbor Freeway carefully while we were going underneath it. Then we made a maintenance stop right here. And after the maintenance stop, we went diagonally across Harbor Park Golf Course. And it's a long way along Harbor Park Golf Course, and the golfers had no idea what was underneath them as it was going along. So the machine went all the way across Harbor Park Golf Course, and then you see Machado Lake in the distance. And then the tunnel machine made a left turn under Machado Lake. And then we came to our second maintenance stop, which will be shown with a blue rectangle. We did some preventative maintenance, and then we continued heading south. And then there's Gaffey Street, as you guys know who live in this area. So we went down Gaffey Street, and again, we're under public right-of-way almost the entire way to stay out from under private property to the extent possible. So the tunnel machine continues to go down Gaffey, and you'll see coming up the next maintenance stop where we're approximately at right now. So you have the shooting range that we just passed, the police shooting range. And so currently the tunnel machine is at about this location. So we've still got a ways to go to get to Home Depot and then to Target. So one of the things we do as construction managers is we're monitoring this tunnel machine at all times. And my cell phone in my pocket, I can look at it at any time and see an app, and I can see exactly what's going on with the tunnel machine. So we can do this because we ran a fiber optic line from the tunnel machine to a server in our field office, and then that server sends data out to our cell phones, computers, so anybody on the contractor side and the district side can be monitoring this at all times. And this is a very high-tech, sophisticated tunnel machine. The cost of the machine in itself is over $20 million. And so we can monitor exactly where it is at any time, the excavation quantity, thrust force, cutting tool wear, all sorts of data to make sure that tunnel machine is operating the way it should be. And here's one of the busy, but I can look at this on my cell phone at any time. It tells me on the left side whether the cutting head is turning clockwise or counterclockwise, whether it's actually excavating at a particular time or ring building, or it's down for maintenance, and any other data that I want to see in terms of articulation, thrust, anything like that. So all this data is monitored by myself and tunnel consultants that we have on the job. The other thing that's important is not just monitoring the tunnel machine, but also the ground for public safety and other reasons. So we've put ground settlement points in the street along the way, and those are automatically monitored. So if there's any movement shown, we'll see it right away. But we don't want to wait till we see ground movement on the surface. So we've put underground settlement points also. So you see the black arrows there, and the bottom yellow dot is an underground settlement point that's just a few feet above the machine. So we can see at any time how is that ground behaving way underground, so we can take corrective action and make sure that you don't get ground settlement as a result. So this is a very extensive effort to monitor the ground. We also have utility monitoring points on water lines, sewer lines, oil lines along the way, and also vibration and noise monitoring stations. And again, all that data we get in real time. And the way we get it in real time is we have these total stations that are set up, and they shoot lasers at all these monitoring points, and then that data is transmitted wirelessly again to our phones, to our computers, so we get it in minutes from when it's read. So one of the questions that's come up, because there are a lot of residences on Capitol, that's pretty much the main area coming up where the tunnel machine will be passing residences. And so on Capitol, and here I'm going to show you a cross-section, again, a side view of the tunnel alignment again. So again, the black line is the tunnel, and you can see that Capitol, of course, as you all know, is a very steep road. So at Capitol, we're about 45 to 50 feet deep, and then as the tunnel machine moves forward and the grade on Capitol goes up, we get much deeper. So here's the path the tunnel machine will take as it gets to Capitol, and you can see the yellow rectangles. So it'll come down off Gaffey, it'll go through the Target parking lot, underneath the Target parking lot, and we have monitoring stations that we're going to install in Target also, and then it'll go on to Capitol. Now, it'll be under Capitol the whole way until it gets to Western, so it's not going to be under any residences or anything like that. And you can see a little close-up view here, and the yellow rectangles are what the tunnel machine path will be. So as it emerges from the Target parking lot, it'll go on to Capitol and all the way up, and then that Tarragona Plaza where the in and out is, it'll make the left turn onto Western up there. So a few comments on Capitol, since there are many residences in the area. On Capitol, we'll be 50 feet or more away from any residence. We're over 45 to 50 feet deep right as we emerge from Target, but then as we go further, we'll get much deeper because, of course, the grade on Capitol is pretty steep. So by the time we get to Western Avenue, we're 300 feet deep. I mean, it's incredibly deep, and then we'll remain deep most of the way to Royal Palms Beach. So prior to tunneling, it's a standard practice that's put into these kind of contracts, which is we take videos and pictures of the entire street, the outside perimeter of any residences anywhere near the tunnel alignment, and we have that for record. We don't anticipate any issues, but we're doing that just as a formality on these sorts of jobs. The other thing that people have asked about is the vibration, that will they feel any vibration if they live in residences, and we don't anticipate that any vibration will be felt, but we will have over 10 vibration monitors right on Capitol also to monitor it, and we'll get those readings. And one of the things is each tunneling operation is different. So this one, there's some tunnels where you have the dirt being brought out and material being brought in on rail. So that creates a lot more vibration because the vehicle is running on the rail. You'll get that kind of ba-dum, ba-dum. But here there is no rail. And you can see on the right side, we use rubber-tired vehicles in this tunnel to bring material in, and then all the dirt comes out via a pipe. So there is not going to be any kind of rail that's going to lead to vibration. So that's one of the things that leads to less noise and vibration in this sort of tunnel. And we will give you updates as we get closer. We're anticipating to be around the Capitol area, maybe around July or so. And so we can give you continuous updates as to where we are. And of course, our contact information is here. By the way, here's one of those vehicles coming out of the tunnel, the rubber-tired vehicle. But our contact information's here, email and phone number. So if any of you have any questions, feel free to contact us. And of course, if you have any questions now, we'd be happy to take them also. Yes, ma'am.
Is it on? Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you that you took the time to thoroughly explain prior to this to my husband and I, just the extent of what's going on Capitol, and it really helped us feel at ease, and it allowed me to share it to the neighbors that were concerned. And I really suggest that anybody that lives on Capitol or that area that's going to be affected, that they contact us if you still don't feel that you have some sort of ease about everything, because their information that they gave really helped us feel more at ease with the construction and the ease of everything going right by our home.
No, thank you. And also, this is a short presentation because this is part of a meeting, but we have longer presentations that go into the tunneling a lot more in detail. So if you're interested, we can send you the links also. We kind of kept this brief. Yes, sir.
Once you get to Royal Palms, how far out will the pipe go to dump the stuff?
So that's a good question. You know, prior to this job starting, the district considered a lot of different alternatives because for those of you who may not know, these two lines that Glenn talked about, the 8 and 12-foot tunnels, they just bring the treated wastewater to the Royal Palms Beach. From there, we have outfall tunnels that go underwater and that basically send the wastewater out to the ocean. So this new tunnel will only stop at Royal Palms Beach. It will not go under the ocean at all. It'll tie into those existing outfalls because we did a study to show that those outfalls are in good condition, so we don't need to replace them. But that was a potential that was basically not followed. So this tunnel is just from the treatment plant to Royal Palms. And then there'll be a lot of rebuilding of the manifold structure there at Royal Palms.
Okay. On those outfalls from the coast out to the ocean, how far out does it go to the ocean?
I believe it's 2 miles, right?
It's a mile and a half.
Yeah.
And it's about 200 feet below the surface level.
Wow. Sure. Yes, sir.
What's the diameter of the tunnel?
So the excavated diameter is about 21.5 feet, but the internal diameter is 18 feet.
Does that theoretically carry, in a particular situation, all the wastewater out?
Correct, because one of the things, and again, if I've got a longer presentation if you're interested, but what we'll do is when the new tunnel is done, it'll tie into the manifold structure. We'll shut off the old 2 tunnels. All the flow will go into this new tunnel. So it is designed to carry all the flow from the plant.
I was just curious about the amount of land movement in that area by Royal Palms. How is that going to be affected by that? Because, I mean, it's moving quite a bit.
So that's a good question. So, obviously there was that landslide to the east of there and all that. So we just had a geotech firm go out there and do soil borings in that area. They had done it before the job also, but we did soil borings. And the way the geology is there, we're getting the final report, but the initial indications are that area right there where we're building is pretty stable. And we're going to continue to monitor it, of course, also further.
So the geology of where the White Point slide occurred is very different than Royal Palms. So basically at White Point, what's called the bedding plains, almost like a layered cake, was slanted towards the ocean. So you didn't need very much for that to occur, water and whatever. Whereas at Royal Palms, it's slanted up and backwards, almost like a folding that occurs. So that's much more stable geology. And the other thing is, we've been at Royal Palms twice already using dynamite in the 20s and the 50s. And so here we're doing a very controlled excavation with the machine.
And again, that was kind of confirmed with the geotechnical borings that were just done. There were some drill rigs down there that went and did at least 3 borings. Yes, ma'am. So of the tunnels, so basically the plant handles about 250 million gallons of wastewater a day. But what happens is that when it rains, there's a lot of infiltration into the sewer system through manholes, through leaking pipes. So it can peak at over 600 million gallons a day. There's that much variation just from rainwater. So the treatment plant and the tunnels have to be able to handle that kind of volume. Sir.
Is there a restriction in that area for fishing or anything else because of that outfall? Is it safe for fishing? Is it safe for people fishing on the coastline?
We do monitor
amateur?
it. Yeah, we do monitor it.
So as far as, let me address your question 2 ways. The quality of the water that comes out, it's very clear. It looks like almost drinking water. It's just a little salty, which is why we don't recycle it or have it reused over the years. But over time, we put in better treatment, what's called full secondary treatment. And so the water quality is very high. So if I were to show you the video of the outfalls and the ports where the water comes out, you would see marine life actually flourish around those outfalls. And so, anyway, we have videos of clips of that, but essentially it meets all the state requirements, local requirements, et cetera.
So would you cast a line and catch a piece of tuna and eat it?
Yes. And so there's another thing that we have, which we have actually an ocean monitoring section in our agency. So we actually have a boat that leaves from San Pedro. We take samples of the bottom sediment. We pull fish out. We study it, and we share all that information with a regional research agency. And so they're able to monitor the quality of the marine life over time, the quality of the water, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Well, this is Basil Hewitt with our agency.
I came here in 2007 when we first started talking about this project. As to your question, historically, DDT was produced in LA County. And so we're tasked to take all the wastewater that comes in. And historically, some DDT got through the wastewater treatment, and it's buried near the outfall. So it's a site that we've been monitoring. We see the DDT going away, but it's buried by sediment. Like, I'm not even sure how deep that is. But so that's why when you see along the piers, they say don't eat the croaker, because those are bottom feeders and they could be in that, burrow into that sediment. But as Glenn said, the water is clean, but what you're looking at is the residual effect of when people thought DDT was the best chemical known to humanity, you know.
And DDT, that's a matter of how many years has that been since it's kind of okay now?
I mean, it's been banned in the U.S. since the 70s, 80s, and the DDT is capped. And so we keep monitoring, the EPA keeps monitoring it. So, okay.
So we've been testing our treated wastewater leaving the plant over the years, and it's been many years since it's been non-detect. You don't detect it in the water.
Yeah, it's not in the water, but it's in the deep sediment.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
Go ahead. This guy's the expert.
Okay. I don't see any hands. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate the information.
No problem. And again, feel free to contact us if you have any further questions.
Great. Thank you. So, we'll go on to agenda item number 8. And let me say that Adam Stevenson left at the 7:59 for a previous engagement, and we're gonna have a hard stop at 9 here because I don't want to take advantage of the park staff, and they're staying out. They're here kind of on overtime after 8 o'clock, so we want to respect their time here. So we'll get as far as we can with the agenda. So consent calendar, agenda item number 8, we have 2 items. That's the approval of March 13th board meeting minutes, and item B is to remove Lori Jacobs from the Youth and Outreach Committee and add Adam Stevenson to Youth and Outreach. Do I hear anyone wanting to take either one of these 2 agenda items off and address them individually? No? Okay, so can I get a motion to Thomas?
Second.
Thomas Norman makes the motion. Who seconds?
I second.
Gwen Henry.
Gwen. Any comment? See no hand? Oh, yes, sir.
I would like to, I guess she's not here now. I would like to publicly thank Lori Jacobs for really making the Youth and Outreach Committee what it is. Most of the important things that have been done were either thought of, facilitated, spearheaded, energized by Lori as chair of the Youth and Outreach Committee, as vice president, as a board member for quite a long time. And so those are big shoes to fill. And we're just very, very thankful. She's one of the people who who really put Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council on the map with her good work. And so I'm very grateful.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Mr. Secretary.
John Barbera.
Yes.
Vic Christensen, aye. John DeMiglio.
Yes.
Dan Dixon. Yes. Cynthia Gagne.
Aye.
Gwen Henry. Yes. Melanie LeBrecq.
Yes.
Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Ben Norman.
Yes.
Thomas Norman.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Angela Sumner. Yes. Chris Valle.
Yes.
That is unanimous with 13 ayes.
Thank you. Okay.
And just one thing for the record, Adam Stevenson left about 8 p.m. He already notified us ahead of time.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 9. These are all the various motions from the various committees. We'll start with Budget and Finance. That'll be Melanie. She'll take over this piece.
Okay. So you turn to page 21, and you'll find the MER. And this is out of committee. So, any discussion?
No hands?
Gwen?
With the expenses for new name tags.
I can't hear you.
With the expenses for new name tags, was there any itemized for
it's
business
not on
cards?
the budget. We're talking about the MER right now.
Sorry.
Okay. So, any more discussion about the MER? So, with that being said, Thomas?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Aye.
Vic?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
Yes.
Dan Dixon?
Aye.
Cynthia? Gwen?
Aye.
Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela? Yes. Chris?
Yes.
Alrighty. Next is the budget. This is the current budget right now as things are allocated. Any discussion? That's on page 22. It's on the screen also.
Was one of the community grants turned down by the city?
Was one of them turned down? No. What happened was the Assistance League, I sent it back to them because they had to have their dates put in. They didn't have the right dates. And they rejected the skate park because she put inapplicable on the dates. And so they told them they had to redo it because there was a lot of mistakes on their application.
So it was technical, not...
Yeah. They're going to get approved. They just have to fix it. So anyway, any more questions? Thomas?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Aye.
Vic?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
Yes.
Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Cynthia? Cynthia? Oh, okay. I didn't hear you. Sorry. Gwen?
Aye.
Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela? Chris?
Yes.
Okay. So next is a request for allocation for movie in the park. This is to allocate $800.
And the park is going to be which one now again? Which park will it be?
Up at Friendship.
No.
Or Bogdanovich Park.
Okay.
Any discussion? Thomas?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Aye.
Vic?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
Yes.
Dan Dixon? Yes. Cynthia? Gwen?
Aye.
Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Okay, the next one is this is for $300 for name tags. What they are is these little things that I have on. The last round of elections before this one, we were virtual. So most of those people did not get name tags. Plus, the new people coming in won't have name tags. So we need to get everybody name tags and get them up to speed. So this motion is for $300 to buy name tags. Once the elections are official, then I'll put an order in. So any discussion? And also, whoever doesn't have one needs to let me know, too, that is already on the board. Thomas? John Barbera?
Aye.
Vic?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
John DeMeglio?
Yes.
Dan Dixon? Cynthia? Gwen?
Aye.
Melanie, yes. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
And Chris?
Yes.
The next one is for our Christina for virtual office, and she needs us to supply some paper, some printer toner cartridge, cardstock to make everybody's nameplates, and also cardstock for business cards for those that are coming on the board and those that are staying another length of time. That's $300 that's been requested. Any Discussion. Okay, Thomas?
Aye.
John Barbera?
Aye.
Vic?
Aye.
Ray?
Yes.
John DeMaglio?
Yes.
Dan Dixon?
Yes.
Cynthia? Gwen?
Aye.
Melanie, aye. Kelly?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And we are done.
Thank you. Community issues. Dan Dixon, John Barbera. Dan Dixon.
Good evening. There was no community issues meeting this month, the last go-round. There will be at the end of this month. However, we have one item left over from our January meeting, which is a motion you have heard mentioned tonight by the councilman. This is a letter to the city, specifically Bureau of Street Services, requesting that a number of trees along Westmont Drive be either replaced or attended to make them healthy again. These trees were planted years ago as a community project and have not been attended to properly. I was very pleased to hear that the councilman is listening. He's well aware of some of these issues, and he's prepared to help when he can with items that should be tended to by the city, such as these trees. I would ask for your support for this letter to the city, which was promulgated by our combination Johnny Appleseed and Paul Bunyan, our giant of protection of trees and shrubbery in the neighborhood, Chuck Hart, a great member of our committee. And this was passed unanimously by the committee. I would ask you to support it. Thank you.
Out of committee, so any comments, questions regarding this item? I see no hands. Anyone out in the community? No hands there? Okay. Call for the vote. Mr. Christensen?
John Barbera. Yes. Christensen, aye. John DeMaglio. Yes. Dan Dixon.
Yes.
Jay Dunn.
Cynthia. Vote on the trees. This motion. Oh. Yes or no?
Yes.
Say it.
Aye.
Okay, I assume it. Aye.
Melanie Moore.
Aye.
Kelly Miller.
Oh, yes.
Ben Norman. Yes. Thomas Norman. Yes. Ray Regalado.
Yes.
Angela Summer.
Yes.
Chris Hyde.
Yes.
Unanimous of 13.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going down to the executive committee. We're going to cover item number 1, and that is a letter of support for that came out of at the time the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce, but then also the PBID also did a letter of support in asking the Mayor Bass for representatives to the Harbor Commission be from the harbor community. I'd like to turn your attention to page 28. You'll see that in the third paragraph of the article from the Daily Breeze, sorry about that. There have been 2 appointments to the Harbor Commission, both out of the area. Representative Lucille Roybal Elder took the seat of Lucille Moreno Linares of Wilmington, and Michael Munoz who is the research director for the Los Angeles Alliance for the New Economy, and he replaced Anthony Perozzi. I think both of these people are very well qualified for their appointment. However, the harbor community is a place where we live, where we shop, where we drive the roads, where we deal with the air that we breathe, and so on. So we feel that the other appointment should be from people from the harbor community, and in turn help make sure that the message from the community is there at the harbor. So with that, there is an example of the letter from the chamber on page 34 of your agenda. And essentially, they are supporting the appointments of the two, but the others should be from the harbor community, and that's what I want to also express. Now, the letter should be...
Page 34.
No, the one that we're trying to put... is that it?
That's
No.
That's from
We
didn't put another one up.
The one I sent you today, yeah. I had a problem with my computer.
It's not good. It says appointment, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-oh. Is there a port?
That's the one that has the document. This one.
We really need to find our laptop.
Yeah.
We will be back in moments due to difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh.
So you could see, on behalf of Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council, I would like to express our strong support for the appointment of 3 local representatives from San Pedro and Wilmington communities to the Los Angeles Board of Harbor Commissioners. As residents of the harbor community, it is imperative that the Harbor Commission has representatives that know and reside in the harbor community, since decisions, programs, and harbor infrastructure directly affect the lives of everyone who live, work, and play here. We drive the streets, breathe the air, and hear the noise from containers being moved to and from the port, which justifies the need to participate in the discussions and that produce policy and contend with them on a daily basis. Have to fix that. Please consider the voice of the people of the harbor community when making further decisions that affect our lives. The Northwest San Pedro Neighborhood Council appreciates your future consideration as you appoint harbor commissioners. That's the letter, or the draft of which will be sent on our behalf. So can we get a...
I move.
We've got a motion for the letter. John Barbera seconds.
Who first?
Melanie.
I did.
Melanie.
John Barbera.
Any questions or for discussion?
Why are they even considering? Okay, I get it. I read the whole thing. I looked into the 2 people, and they're qualified. But the people that are leaving, retiring from the position, are harbor area residents. They're people that are from the harbor. So wouldn't you replace them with harbor people because they were harbor seats?
Good question. I don't have an answer.
Mr. President.
No, they should.
So let's go with Chris.
Thanks. Yeah. So to start, I think in general, I agree with. I wouldn't say this should necessarily be an arbitrary 60-40 split, but I like the idea of having kind of a majority or a significant presence of local representation on the Harbor Commission. On at least one occasion, which I think probably means on several occasions, Mayor Bass expressed, to the best of my recollection, some concern that some of the professional opportunities and some of the economic benefits of the port could be more widely enjoyed across the city, or have to sort of widen access to the high-paying blue-collar jobs that the port and the associated industries provide, which is simply my analysis of possibly looking at some outside talent, of which he seems to have found two really qualified examples. And so I think that if the community is pretty steadfast in asking for like a consistent level of representation on the Harbor Commission, that we also consider at the same time that, some of the reasons that the mayor might like to look outside. And so, I think the balance to be struck between those sorts of things, that making sure the port really does belong to the wider city, but is also strongly represented in and from San Pedro or the harbor area, is, I think that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Gwen, and then we'll go this way.
The people who were the lawyers and the legal staff for the NRDC do not live in San Pedro or in the harbor area, but their expertise, their passion for what they do, and coming to understand the needs of the port, they were able to represent the communities and fight on their behalf. So a certain amount of, if you get the right people involved that really have the aspects and the talent that are needed, which is being able to listen to stakeholders, really understand and have that passion for it, clearly that's a great thing. But I got to say another thing is that I came from outside this area, and immediately upon living here, I started to recognize the disconnect of the rest of the city to the needs of this community, and the serious environmental issues and labor issues and a lot of other things, community issues, transportation through some of the most impoverished areas, the economically challenged areas, and the combination of that. I don't think I would have viscerally felt it as much had I not moved here, and I would not have had this huge learning curve had I not lived here. So as far as majority is concerned, I do believe that should be here, but I think that with the right people involved, if they're really well chosen, that if there are some people that are outside that area, because the trains do go through the entirety of the Los Angeles area, though that kind of the transport and the continuation of the goods that come through here are far outside of this area, and it does impact others as well, economically. I mean, as far as way as Glendora and Azusa, there's truck training programs out there, and there are truckers out there that directly come back and forth over here. So it's the entire basin. So having some representation, I think, is okay, but yes, the majority should be here.
Thank you. Angela?
I have just a couple questions that I'm not sure if you have the answers to them. Were the two local members of this panel, did their terms expire? Are they being replaced, or were they done with their position?
Their terms did not expire.
Okay,
They
so
have just
they're
been replaced.
being replaced.
Yeah.
And then I read in the article, the Daily Breeze article, that more appointments are expected. Is there a specific number of people on this board, or can they just add additional?
No, there are a specific number.
Okay.
Yeah,
I believe it's 5.
I think it's 5.
Okay, so they just haven't finished making all the appointments
I think she's going to add to the pool of candidates is what it meant, that they were going to add more people to the pool of who could serve and not just leave it to those two.
Okay. I definitely believe that we need local representation. I'll just throw in my
Thank
2
you.
cents.
John, I think I saw your hand up.
I understand this. There was 4 openings and 2 have already been placed, and there's 2 more openings left.
There are 5 total. 2 have been replaced, so there'll be three more.
3 more left
That are available to be replaced.
And to piggyback off of Angela, the people that have resigned, these previous members, board members, they resign, and that's why the open spots are available?
They did not resign.
They were fired?
In fact, I was talking to one of them over the weekend, and he did not know that he was replaced until he read the article. That's how he found out.
Was there a reason?
One of them was Anthony Perosi.
It's at the pleasure of the mayor.
Yeah, it's my understanding is that these commissions are by appointment. They get approved by city council, but the mayor gets to choose.
Any other question?
It's Chinatown, Jackie.
I would not argue that. Okay, any comments from the audience? See no hands. Can we take a vote count?
On yet.
It's on.
No, it's not on. Okay. Wow, those are really sensitive. Yeah. They are.
Wait. Oh, okay. Take Cynthia's vote first.
Cynthia. Aye. Okay. Vice, are you leaving? John Barbera.
Yes.
Vic is gone. John DeMeglio. Yes. Dan Dixon. Yes. Cynthia Gagne, already did her. Gwen Henry. Aye. Melanie Lebrecq.
Yes.
Kelly Miller.
Yes.
Ben Norman.
Yes.
Thomas Norman.
Yes.
Ray Regalado.
Right. Was that me? Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
It's getting late. Angela Summer.
Yes.
Chris Veit.
Yes.
Passes. I can't count that.
Thank you. We're going to move on to, we're going to skip number C2 on this agenda item and move on to the EBG working group update with Melanie.
That has been dissolved at this time due to Raquel being gone now, and there's been no meetings at this point right now because it's... So there's no update.
Don't look at it, Octaviano. You don't know nothing.
I'm looking at Doug. And Octaviano.
I think it's because you can't make meetings.
You just can't do anything because of the Brown Act the way it is and stuff. And until that's resolved, we're just kind of...
So there is no report then. Let's move on to item number 11. President's meeting with the port. That's actually Thomas Norman.
And given the meeting fell on a holiday, the meeting was canceled, so there's no report.
There you go.
This is how to get through an agenda.
Okay, committee reports, bylaws and elections. John, you want to say any last words on the... Let me say John worked his arms off on this, on the work that he did for our elections. I really want to thank him. Yes, he deserves
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Thank you for all your work. And John, I guess you probably don't have any.
Well, there's nothing. There's like this point. You know, like Octaviano said, it's going to be this Thursday, the 14th. Right. Then we'll know more.
Great, thank you. Budget and finance. Any reports?
Just what we have. Nothing. I mean, the motions that we had. Budget advocate. I don't know if Cheryl has anything. Do you have a budget advocate report?
Okay, let's go to public safety. Any report? Public safety?
She's going to do a budget.
No, she's got to do something.
Yeah.
Public safety for you.
Okay, I don't have any budget and finance report because it was just
No, we
motions.
are. Okay, but public safety?
Public safety, nothing, and my CPAB report wasn't in the packet that I sent Christina, so it didn't attach. So it missed the agenda, so
Okay.
you don't have it, you don't get to do it.
We will put you on report then.
Huh?
We'll put you on report then. How about Youth and Outreach Committee?
We did meet and got some things done. In short, we discussed in sort of general terms advice, guidelines, conversation about reminding people, maybe reestablishing or establishing, and you touched on this, kind of our standards and practices for our return to in-person things. So we may do some, try to put some educational materials together, and actually this ties into executive as well, but sorry, I can't see both things. I need bifocals is what I'm trying to say. Basically, spinning back up towards in-person meetings, collaborating with outside organizations, as well as things like the movie in the park, and brainstorming some ideas for engagement, attraction, the things that we haven't done. Photo booth style backdrops or photo op things that when we have in-person events, if we have a table at First Thursday or at a Music by the Sea or something like that, we are coming up with some ways to try and get people to create their own memory that ties into the neighborhood council, rather than taking a pen of ours or something like that, to try and do a more outreach as opposed to kind of dispensing stuff. And then with the aforementioned movie in the park, we are going to make a selection for the film and then move to approve a specific amount for that event. And that was pretty much it.
Thank you. You ready? Okay. Budget advocate report.
Okay, I'm just looking at this. Honestly, I haven't read it yet. So there's a lot of information on this report that I think was sent to you all. Oh, it's that. Sorry. And I won't bore you with that stuff. So our activities, the budget advocates, see, it's just too slow, are asking neighborhood council members and stakeholders to provide input on issues for city services in anticipation of budget day. And there's a survey for that. Okay, yeah, there's a survey. Okay, and I think you've already hopefully posted this report somewhere. This report that I'm reading is actually on the Budget Advocates website as well, so you don't have to take my version of it. So speaking of Council File 230600, aka the upcoming new fiscal year budget, obviously we want you to put in CISs for the things that you want to see addressed in that budget and the things you want to see not addressed in that budget. They're working on providing a great budget day, which we are. I'm also on that committee and also on the committee for the Congress, unofficially. So budget day is coming. It's going to be virtual again this year, unfortunately. We hoped we could get that sorted, but we can't. It's Saturday, June 17th, even though the date is not in this report. And the other thing I want to say is that I am the sole budget representative for the entire Region 12 of the harbor. We need more budget advocates, and I wish there were more stakeholders here, because stakeholders can also be budget advocates. So if you or if you know someone who is interested in participating with budget advocates, and if you want to know more, please get my contact information. Everyone here has it. Although, like I say, I'm preaching to the choir. So I think that in a nutshell of unpreparedness, that's all I have. Thank you.
Tom?
Quick question as I try to help you recruit more budget advocates. What's the approximate time commitment, or is there a fixed day they meet?
Well, 2 meetings a month, one on a Saturday morning and one on a Monday night. They're all going to be virtual. We will not be meeting in person. It's such a blessing because that was always a real obstacle.
And how long do they typically run?
Sure, 2.5, 3 hours, to be honest. And then, of course, when we're in white paper season, which we're at the tail end of right now, there's department meetings. But like I say, that's happened already, so now we're in the process of writing reports for the white paper and getting ready to get the white paper out. If you want to look at the Budget Advocate website, which Christina has to tell me what it is because I always forget. Oh, it's budgetadvocates.org. Okay. I always mess it up. You can always look there to look at the white papers just to get an idea of what else it is we do. So, anybody?
Budgetadvocates.com.
See, this is why I always get it wrong. Honestly, I can never remember. So I stopped saying it because one of the websites I was saying turns out to be a Baptist church. So now I just don't say anything. Okay, I think that's it.
And the survey is on that website too, right?
Yes, the survey, because we really want to hear from, drilled down from the neighborhood council stakeholders about what city services you want to see in the budget, or, to find out if it's already addressed in the budget, or if it isn't. We want to, harp on those things to get what stakeholders want addressed. April 30th? It doesn't say in here, so thank you. Details. Okey-doke. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? I think we already had a question or a comment. Okay, we're going to move on. Let me give a quick overview of what the executive committee has been working on, but it's more of working with. This last month, in fact longer, it's been really difficult in making sure that we had a in-person meeting, and it took a lot of work by many of the people around this table: Melanie, John Barbera, Chris, Victor. And I'm just naming them very quickly here, but everyone had a hand. We had John and we had Kelly at making sure that the elections went off right. It was a very, very active month, if not longer. So everyone had a hand in it. Everyone deserves, our gratitude in being able to pull this meeting off and pull off our election. So thank you all very much for that. And we'll move on.
Actually, can I?
Yeah.
One thing that we did discuss more at length than other things was that taking note that we were going to have in our return to let me restart. In our transition back to in-person meetings, events, and everything, we're also going to be introducing, I think it's 4 new. Yes, in addition to re-electing several board members, we've got 4 brand new board members. And so it seems like it might be a good time to sort of, reassert our ground rules, to reinforce our internal culture. So to not only to welcome in our new board members, but to really take a chance to re-examine and reassert the things that we already know work well, and kind of get everybody back up to speed and comfortable so that we can kind of hit the ground. In as much as we've already hit the ground running, but, take it as an opportunity to educate and then to sort of refresh our collective understanding. So we're looking forward to that over the next couple of months, especially, once the new board members are seated.
Thank you.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Also, just as Ray was saying, it was very difficult, and thank you for John for coming on as our sound person. We really appreciate it. And to Cheryl for doing our minutes, because we were having great difficulty getting a minute taker. It was a problem. Bridge Gap that was on Zoom just failed to be working out. So it just, and Christina for pulling everything together and helping, with trying to, so everybody, everybody has a little spot that they helped in, to get this to happen and make it happen.
Thank you. Planning and land use, Diana is not here.
I think everything was covered last month as far as motions went.
Great.
And I think the joint committee did not meet, so we'll pick it up again next month.
Great, thank you. Community issues?
We're done.
They're done, okay. Port, sustainability? Nothing?
Well, I've got the minutes there, if there's anything anybody in the public wants to discuss, but otherwise I'll let the report stand.
Thank you. Vic had to leave. Hank is on hiatus. Okay, that takes care of agenda item number 12. Let's talk about agenda item number 13, which are liaison reports. We had our homelessness liaison earlier. LADWP, Dan, and Public Works, Chris, anything?
Nothing to report.
Nope. Okay. Any announcements for future agenda items? Any announcements? Anyone? Okay, I see.
I'll just quickly speak because I got a letter from Augie on the PAP, the Port Improvement Program. You might just want to follow that. There might be something we'll want to discuss at the next meeting. We'll discuss in committee, but it might be of more general interest to folks too, seeing there's money involved in a proposal.
Thank you.
Yes.
Also, if there's any sandwiches left up there, grab one and take them home because I'm not taking them home. So anybody that wants to grab one, take it.
Hey, this was a great idea, this box thing.
And it's sustainable.
Great idea.
I was a little disappointed. I thought it was milk.
Thought it was milk.
In terms of future agenda items, possibly consideration of a retreat or some other non-Brown acted meeting to, again, is that me? Anyway, for our new board members, when they come in, we may want to have a chance to kind of all get together.
Retreats are Brown acted.
Oh, they are Brown acted.
Yeah.
Okay, well. But a retreat.
I hear what you're
saying. For later in the summer, perhaps.
Anything else? Anyone? No? Okay. Last call for general public comments. General public, I see. Anyone?
It's really nice to see faces again. This is really great. And I hope that we can do a hybrid soon with all the developments of technology that hopefully will, through some advocacy of this body, to get Wi-Fi going at this facility. So, yeah.
We'll see where that leads us. As in the form of an announcement, please don't forget your. They look like diaper pails in the old days, but the.
It's the new policy. Get your green stuff. You don't want sandwiches. These sandwiches need to go in the green bin. If you have greasy stuff, it goes in the green bin. An old hamburger in the green bin.
Yeah.
What about pizza boxes?
Would everybody bring their nameplates up here too, please? Their nameplates and put them in the box.
Okay, I think that's the end of our meeting. Hey, next meeting, Monday, May 8th. Don't forget. Thank you all for being here. Good night.
Thank you. Good seeing everybody.